All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of the I Said What I Said podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Roby Hollywood, and man, you know the point of the show, man. Once a week, I take a little bit of time out of my busy schedule, and I drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke, and I share my opinion with you about some of the shit that is popping off, whether it be in the news or pop culture or anything that is at the forefront of the zeitgeist. All right. Now, with that being said, let's get the show started. That's that good shit right there. Lordy, lordy, lord. All right. I guess we're gonna start off with the fact that I'm recording this on Thursday, February 18th, and this was last weekend was Valentine's Day weekend. How did yours go, player? Did you get everything that you felt like you deserved? See, Valentine's Day it's a bit of a weird holiday for me. Okay, because growing up, I felt like Valentine's Day was a celebration of both yours and my love, right? I'm talking about men and women. But I feel like at this point, man, Valentine's Day has been jacked up. It's been kidnapped by women, man. It's a women's holiday now. I feel like there is this societal expectation for the man to go out of his way as far as he can on Valentine's Day. But I don't feel like those same expectations are on the lady side of things, man, because I've been talking to a lot of my boys. I'm like, hey, man, so what did you get for Valentine's Day? And they're all looking at me like a dog looking at a spoon. No idea what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? And look, don't get me wrong, man. Don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like, especially, as a new dad, I have gotten to appreciate women even a lot more, like watching my girl being a mom for the first time, and all the things that it takes to be able to raise a child, especially when, you're living with somebody like me who's an artist who has to be outside of the home so much. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever I have to like watch my son for like even a day, I'm like, God damn. I don't know how this lady does it, man. So of course, I don't mind going out of my way for Valentine's Day to show you how appreciated you are, baby. I get it. But when did the rules change, man? When did the rules change? Like, when did pussy become an acceptable gift for Valentine's Day? That's what I want to know. Because all my dudes that I'm talking to right now, the story is all the same, right? And you know what? Here is when I knew that Valentine's Day has been hijacked by women. Okay, for the last few years that I was standing in that card aisle at Walmart or wherever it is that you get your Valentine's Day card from, I don't see no ladies in there, man. It's just me and a couple dudes, and we all just kind of scheming through the motherfucker, just picking up a card and being like, oh, no, that don't sound like me. No, that don't sound like me either. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen no ladies, man, pulling up to the card section of, during Valentine's Day, man. I've waited in line during quarantine. Hundreds of people trying to pay for their groceries. I ain't seen a single lady pay for goddamn flowers. You know why? Because now pussy is an acceptable Valentine's Day gift. You know what I'm saying? And look, ladies, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, to me, that is the ultimate version of regifting. You know what I'm saying? Because let me tell you the truth, ladies. Okay, here is the truth, right? The brand new little 90 that you went and got from Victoria's Secret don't make the pussy brand new. Okay, let me tell you what happens the moment you walk into the room looking all sexy and shit, taking off your little night, talking about, oh, your gift is here now. You know what we're thinking out here, bitch? Ain't that the same pussy from last Thursday, bitch? Like, where are my flowers? You know what I'm saying? No. Why would you take the candy out of my mouth, put it into a brand new wrapper, then try to sell it to me as brand new candy? No, bitch, you're scandalous. That is scandalous. Cut it out. No. Pussy is not an acceptable gift for Valentine's Day. Men like flowers too. Bad, oh bad. I bet you I'm having a comfortable conversation with my lady tomorrow. But like, once she sees the episode, she's gonna be like, "Oh, nigga, you wasn't happy with that little piece of pussy that I gave you on Valentine's Day? You had tears in your eyes. Yeah, baby, I got tears in my eyes because that pussy good. Don't get me wrong, though. It is good. It is delicious. But it's not brand new." Oh, man. I do love Valentine's Day, though, man. You know what? Like, I got I know a couple friends of mine asked their ladies to marry them this Valentine's Day, right? Like, they went in. They were like, "Oh, shit. You know, like, I feel like I'm ready, man. I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready to settle down." And Valentine's Day is one of those occasions that people take to ask their significant other to marry them. And of course, when they brought that shit to me, you know, I had to be my regular piece of shit, Rob. You know what I'm saying? So my question is like, you know, you are asking this person to spend the rest of your life with you, but are you at a point in your relationship where you can have those uncomfortable conversations? You know what I'm saying? For example, if you're going to get married, have you had the prenup conversation? Uh-oh. There goes the ladies. There goes the ladies all tuning out. You know what I'm saying? They're closing their shit and I'm subscribing. By the way, if you like what you're hearing so far, you know, we're going to be doing this each and every single week. Man, press the subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the show, man. Click the little dingly thing. What is it called? The little bell to let you know when new episodes are in. But yes, have you had the prenup conversation? And look, I can understand the reticence behind it, right? Because the argument that you hear from most women when you're talking about the whole prenup thing is, oh, you saying that you want a prenup because you're going into this expecting to fail, right? You are expecting that eventually this relationship is not going to work out. And that is why you want a contract. And that to me is a ridiculously asinine argument, because it's the equivalent of you saying that every time you get behind the wheel of your car and you put on your seatbelt, you know, you were expecting to get into an accident. No. You put on your seatbelt with your best of intentions at heart, right? You're like, hey, you know what? If this shit don't pan out, if I hit some black ice or end up spinning or end up getting hit by another car, I am hoping that this seatbelt will save my life, right? But you're not waking up in the morning and saying to yourself, today will be a good day to get into a vehicular fisticuff. Right? Listen. Try to think like, you know, if you've been through this. I've been through some terrible breakups, right? Like bad ones. Like if you've been through a bad one, you know, right? You know, man, when people are hurt, all they want is to inflict that same hurt, that same pain that they're feeling onto the person that they believe is the source of that anguish. Right? Listen, man, I've had my car keyed. I've had watches stolen. I've had sneakers burnt. I've had clothes bleached. And all I had to offer was some decent enough dick and a bowl of cereal. Now, imagine if you have kids in the mix. You got property. You got money. You have people who have, like in any couple, right? Like, so somebody has to put their dreams or goals or things on especially if you're building a family, right? Somebody has to put their wants and needs on a back burner to allow somebody else to be able to flourish, whether it be man or wife. So when that shit don't pan out, it hurts bad. And when humans are hurt bad, you want revenge. You want that person to feel how you feeling in that moment. It's war. That's what it is. Divorce is war. And all wars, the reason why we're not out here nuking each other over border issues is because all wars have rules of engagement. And that prenup are your rules of engagement. Hey, I'm going into this hoping for the forever after just like you, but just in case it don't work out, we need to be able to address how this whole thing is gonna play out. No matter how much you hate me, you can't insist on me not seeing my children. That's outside the realms of war. That's not how we're fighting this battle. Right? So it is important to make sure that those ground rules and those perimeters are set up. Because if you're gonna jump out of if you're gonna go skydiving, you can't be like, you know what? No, I don't want to take a parachute because I am expecting to grow wings on the way down. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's fun. Yes, it feels like you're flying. But once that shit hits the ground, you better make sure that you have taken gravity into consideration. So this is not you going into it expecting it to fail but people have to have the balls to have those conversations. And I feel like once you break it down to your significant other in a way that they can understand, if they are a reasonable person, if you play this video for your loved one as an explanation as to why a prenup is needed and they still insist on not getting one, that bitch is crazy, nigga. Get to stepping. Shit. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. You know what I mean? And that the Valentine's Day was a vibe. It was a vibe. I'm a big fan of love, man. I love love. Anyways, moving on. Another story in the news this week was the story of Gorilla Glue Girl. Oh man, oh man. That shit tickled my funny bone. So, for those of you who have been living underneath a rock inside a Syrian refugee camp, Gorilla Glue Girl's name is Tasika Brown. So, Miss Brown was on her way to, I'm sure, to do some very important shit, because that morning she woke up and she realized that she ran out of her regular, I guess, edges cream. And look, listen, I'm a black man who has been with my fair amount of black women. I do believe in laid edges. Yes. If your edges are good with the Lord, you are on the path of a good day. So, Ms. Brown wakes up and she's out of her jail. Shit, I cannot lay my edges and I can't get out of the house looking crazy like this. Right? So, she starts rummaging through her house. I'm assuming there had to be some sort of like, unfolding that happened, right? Ms. Brown is running around her house trying to figure out how is she going to lay this savage edges in order to feel like she is presentable enough to the world. Ms. Brown couldn't find a doggone thing. So, however, Ms. Brown happened to go through her toolkit and find that 6-year-old Gorilla Glue that she once used to repair the door to the shed in her backyard. And she's like, this will be a fantastic product that I can use to lay my edges. Now, I wasn't there when this whole thing unfolded, but I am assuming that she turned the tube to the side and she started going through all the warnings that are written on the tube as to how you should not use Gorilla Glue. And in bold letters it said, please, nigga, do not apply this to your skin. We beg of you, for both legal and humane purposes, do not apply this product onto your skin. And Miss Tessica Brown read that warning and was like, oh yeah, hair is not skin. I found a loophole in the game. Lord of mercy. And that is when she proceeded to unleash an ungodly amount of Gorilla Glue upon her head, laying her edges. But then she came to the sad conclusions that once you lay edges with Gorilla Glue, they never unlay. Your edges are laid forever, bitch. They should change the name of the product from Gorilla Glue to Forever Edges. Now, apparently a month went by. And this bitch didn't try everything. She tried to wash it out. She tried to burn it out of her head. I don't know that. She must have done all kinds of things to the point where she said, she's like, you know what? The internet is the best plausible avenue that I can go through. Let me ask these uncouth human beings hiding behind keyboards to prove their undue bravery what I should do with this Gorilla Glue in my hair. And the internet was unforgiving. Oh, it reminded her how stupid she looked with that shit. But here is the thing that upsets me the most. This girl got bare clout from it. She was doing nationally syndicated television show interviews. She's on TMZ. This bitch was on the news as much as Donald Trump. I thought this bitch was running for president. You know what I'm saying? She is getting all the, to the point where she now has representation. I have written several good screenplays. Right? I get on a stage and I make people laugh. And it took me 4 years to find representation. This bitch just like randomly just squeezed Gorilla Glue all up on her head. Like she should have worn a helmet. And she has an agent. God damn, the world ain't fair. The world ain't fair. And on top of that, she had the toupee and the audacity to want to sue Gorilla Glue. Simple bitch. Please. I don't know what to tell you. You gonna sue. They told you that shit don't go on skin. Are you a spare tire bitch? Because otherwise, Gorilla Glue shouldn't work on you. Is your head a kitchen island? If not, Gorilla Glue don't go on you. It's not that complicated. But see, then people started making it this race thing, right? Like, it started being painted in the media as this, like, oh, look at the extent that black women have to go to in order to feel beautiful, right? Look at this. Like she couldn't get out of her house. She had to do. She couldn't get. Apparently, this bitch was going to the store or something, right? But she couldn't get out of her house. She had to glue her hair to the side of her head because of racism. Come on, man. And look, yes, on one side, I do understand what that part of the argument is, right? Yes, European beauty standards are the agreed upon norm, right? You know, silky long hair. Yes, I understand that. Absolutely. Right? But it's 2021, bro. Okay? Like, Walmart has a whole aisle of like black people fucking hair products, right? Every other store is a beauty supply. Okay? Listen. In not even that far from now. In 1958, when bitches had to like fucking iron their hair and somebody got second degree burns because they were going to, be the first girl to ever be integrated into an all-white school and she wanted to make sure that she looked presentable. Yeah, I get that. But bitch, it's 2021. All right? You ran out of product. You didn't go to the store. You had to leave the house and you made a stupid decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gonna put this on white people, dog. Like, come on. We can't just be like, see, this is an utter watering down of the race card, man. We can't be pulling it on everything. We cannot be pulling the race card on everything, man. Like this. No, this ain't it. This ain't it. This bitch is stupid. This bitch is stupid. Don't let her drag us and drag the movement of civil rights with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a whole entire law that was passed by the United States Congress, okay? And it's called the Crown Act, okay? The Crown Act stands for, I'll read this for you. It stands for creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. This is a fact. It's called the Crown Act. The creating a respectful and open world for natural hair, right? And it was created by a group of organizations that dedicated. One second. It was dedicated to fighting discrimination in the United States against women that wear their natural hair. Okay? And they lobbied Congress to make it a law that makes it illegal to discriminate against natural hair textures and styles in employment and education. Meaning that if you fire somebody for their dreadlocks, you're losing your business and you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So whatever this bitch had to do, if somehow her edges now being laid was going to impede upon it, whoever would have been impeded upon would have lost their business or went to jail because it is against the law. You know what I'm saying? We need to pick our fights, people. We need to pick our fights, black people. We cannot jump on every single wagon, man. We're getting lost in the sauce. That shit is crazy. Man, we're going to go into this race thing a little bit more once the show goes down. The more the show goes down. Yo, hanging around out here. Anyways, moving on. Man, whew. Donald J. Trump went down in history this week as the only president of the United States to ever be impeached twice and acquitted twice. Come on, man. He don't get more goat than that. This is the true, undisputed, unchecked Teflon Don. Nothing touches this motherfucker. He is the real and true untouchable. Fuck John Gotti. Fuck Rick Ross. Fuck all these niggas talking about, oh, I'm the Teflon Don. Donald Jebediah Trump. I know his middle name is not Jebediah, but I like to go by Jebediah because it's biblical. Donald Jebediah Trump is the true Teflon Don. Oh my God. Impeached twice and found innocent twice. Now, Donald Trump was being accused of fomenting the insurrection that led to the attacks on the Capitol on January 6th. Do I believe that he is guilty of inciting an insurrection? Abso-fucking-lutely. No doubt about it. The man did the crime. What I love is that he never does the time. Ever since September, this man was on national television in front of an audience of tens of thousands of people during a global pandemic, saying that the only way that he could possibly lose this election is if the Democrats cheated. That's it. That's the end of the game. He took his ball and he went home. That ends the game right then and there. If people cannot believe in the system then the system can't stand. The moment you pull the carpet from underneath democracy, it's over. Right? And that's why I truly believe, to me, the way that I define democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what to have for lunch. Somebody is always going to lose. Now, here is what surprised me about this whole thing. I've always predicted, and you can go back into other shows that I've done, like other podcasts. Shout out to my boys at MDAC. My daughter's a communist. My boy Fadi, my boy Johnny. And if you go back to some of the shows that we're doing early in the election process, I've always predicted that Trump was going to lose. Based on a few facts. One, the momentum was completely against him. Because there was half of the country, like, he was that perfect villain. Like, when you have a villain that people hate so viscerally, it will get them to move, right? In 2016, when Hillary Clinton lost that election, it put a fire underneath the liberals. That is why Joe Biden literally is the one president of the United States who ever gotten the most votes. I believe it was about 84 million, like 80 million people, something crazy like that, right? It's because there was a move, like nobody voted for Joe Biden. No 80 million people voted for Joe Biden, man. You know what I'm saying? It's either people voted for Trump or against Trump. You could have put a fucking garbage dispenser or a garbage disposal machine against Trump, and that motherfucker would have gotten more votes. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's voting for this old senile motherfucker who's out here smelling bitches' hair and shit. Like, every time I watch Joe Biden talk, like, I get nauseous. I'm like, why is this old man in my house? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I don't believe in Corona. Like, every time I watch him talk, I'm like, nigga, how are you still standing? According from everything that I know from the Rona, it should have taken you a long time ago, nigga. Listen, I ain't trying to wish that on nobody. But let's tell the truth, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? When Trump looked at him and called him Sleepy Joe, I was like, damn, yeah, this nigga really is sleepy. He really is a sleepy motherfucker. So I knew that movement, that anti-Trump movement, which had grown because, like, there is a lot of people, because, like, the thing with Trump is, like, he pissed off two sides of the equation. One, he pissed off the establishment, because the way world politics work is there is a machine. It's a cookie cutter approach. There are certain people that fit in the mold, and sometimes you have that fucked up cookie that just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ever made muffins? Like, you have like you have a muffin that spills through to the other muffins. That's what Trump was. He didn't fit into that mold, which made him a great president. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you're dealing with an establishment that controls the narrative. How do you control the narrative? Is through the media. You can paint anything that you want in any kind of way if you can get in front of people. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always say, like, journalists have the easiest sales job in the world, because you come in, you pitch, but you don't get, you know what I'm saying? You don't get the objections back from the client, because usually when you're in a sales situation, let's say, I don't know, you're trying to sell anything. I don't know, man. Let's even say you're trying to sell, like, I don't know, you can try to sell, loan equipment, or you're trying to sell real estate, whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to get some money out of somebody's pocket and into yours by offering a product or a service, right? You lay your information across, hoping that the person is going to be like, you know what? Yes. You know what? I like what you're saying to me. I am willing to buy it. Right? But most of the time, that person will present objections. Hey, man, you know what? No, but, I want to compare prices. I want to do this. I want to do that. But see, when you're a journalist, when you're on CNN and you come in and you fucking lay your poison in people's houses, there's no rebuttal to what you just said until Twitter came around. And see, a man like Trump could have never happened unless you lived in the age of Twitter. It's the only way. Because before, in order to ascend to a place like being president of the United States, some guy, most of the time Jewish, would have to point and be like, yes, you're next. You're the next guy to carry our water, right? So we're going to sell you to the public. And that was always the game for a long time. When I look at Trump, I always go back to the election of 2008, right? In the Democratic primary, you had Barack Obama, and then you had a senator by the name of John Edwards, and you had Hillary Clinton, and they were all running for the Democratic primary to become the nominee to who later on go on to face John McCain, right? This is 2008. That's when Obama won the presidency. The next guy in line was John Edwards, right? This guy had been a senator for 10 years. He looked like a fucking Kennedy. You know what I mean? Pretty motherfucker. You know what I mean? WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. You know what I mean? He was the perfect figure. And he was running against a woman and a nigga. Oh, he did his math. Is like, ooh wee. This is going to be the easiest slide into the presidency that anybody has ever done. And then a story came out that when his wife was sick with cancer, he fucked the nanny and got her pregnant. Ooh, shoo-be-doo-be-doo. The man disappeared off the face of the earth. Gone. Nobody, I don't even know if the Rona got him now. He never ran for anything again. His career was over instantaneously. Fast forward to Donald Jebediah Trump. This nigga is grabbing bitches by the pussy and he's fucking porn stars while his wife is pregnant. And you know what I'm saying? He's out here dancing with white supremacists, but nothing can fucking touch him. Why? Because you campaign the narrative now. Because whatever it is that you say, he can go on Twitter and rebuttal. And that's what changed the game. And that is the reason why this whole impeachment business is happening. Because they are fucking scared shitless. Liberals are petrified. A 2024 run for Donald Trump, because see, it's the same exact wave that put the liberals in power this time. This hatred for Donald Trump mobilized people, right? Also, the fact that he did shit on the mail-in ballots. That was a huge mistake. From a political standpoint, from a political strategy standpoint, that was a huge mistake. You should not have shot on the mail-in ballots because that's where they got you. Yes, the ability for more people to vote. And if you allow people to, because everybody wants to vote. You know what people hate is the waiting in line, right? So I don't know who in Trump's team thought that it was a great strategy to be like, oh yeah, you know what? We're just going to have everybody go out on the same day and wait in long ass lines in November to vote. But still, this motherfucker still got 74 million votes. He's the second president in history to get the most votes. I actually gotta show you something, man. For real. For real. So these 74 million people that voted for him, because this motherfucker is not going anywhere. First of all, he's the new kingmaker, right? Because everybody now who wants to run for office as a Republican has to pander to Trump because he has a base of 74 million people that he can move in any direction. He can even make him storm the fucking Capitol. And he did. These motherfuckers know what they were doing. This guy was tweeting for weeks talking about, oh yeah, come through January 6th. It's going to be wild. Come on, dog. Come on. For weeks, he's talking about the election was stolen. You no longer have a country. But see, the problem is liberals think that these people that he's talking to are not people. Because there is a huge fraction of people in the United States that consider themselves forgotten people. They don't feel like they listen to it. They live in a world that is ran by what they call the coastal elite, right? And it's true, right? The white man has been getting shitted on for a long time. Now, not as long as the nigga, but he's definitely getting a taste of his medicine, right? He's being called racist. And most of these motherfuckers are thinking, they're like, you know what, man, why am I paying, because when you tell a poor white person, you're like, hey, you're privileged. You have white privilege. And then he looks around and is like, man, I'm broker than you. What the fuck is you talking about? Right? There is this song and dance. There is not a single slave master still alive. And there is not a single slave still alive. All these motherfuckers been dead. But we out here fighting their fight. And ruining ourselves and the planet in that whole entire fucking equation of things. Isn't that fucking crazy? But there is a whole entire portion of the country of people who feel like things are changing too fast for them. And it's going to get fucking worse for these people too. Wait until automation comes around. Like really, like I was reading somewhere that 60% of men in North America make a living out of some kind of driving, right? Whether it be, Uber, taxi, or driving a truck, or mail delivery, some kind of driving. You know how fucking crazy that is? 60. Automation will be the norm in 3 years, max. And then eventually the government is going to do the math and is going to be like, you know what? Ape-driven vehicles kill 60% more people than the self-driven ones. And they're going to shut this whole motherfucker down. And then suddenly you have 60% of men out of the workforce. Ooh. See, that shit was skewed. When black kids were starving, when the white kid starves, ooh, that's when revolutions happen. That's when revolutions happen. When Joe Biden got into office, one of the first things that he did was axe the Keystone Pipeline. thousands of people overnight like this in the middle of a global pandemic were suddenly out of a job. Just like, and not just like your regular fucking low McDonald's job. These are good paying jobs. These motherfuckers were making anywhere between 150 to 200 grand a year. Some of these guys working on a fucking pipeline. And they have been at it for years. And cause see, the fucked up part is, you know, once you get a job like that, right, you start planning ahead, right? You buy a house, you buy a bit of a nicer truck, like, you know what I'm saying? You're just like, you know what? Hey, this thing is gonna go on at least for the next couple years, you know? And just like that, boom, lights are off. And then John Kerry, the fucking climate czar, goes on TV and he's like, you know what? All these guys should just start fucking building solar panels. They should start building solar panels. Why not just go work on wind turbines? As those motherfuckers in Texas, how those wind turbines are working out. But see, that's fucked up. That is fucked up. Like, see, now you have this, that wave of people, those people, that 74 million fucking people were just like, holy shit, man. But see, that's how civil wars are started. That was just like that attack on the Capitol, that was just a fucking taste of what's coming, buddy. You know what I mean? It's a fucking taste of what's coming. You cannot, we cannot keep living in these fucking echo chambers where we are just fed what we want to hear, right? If you're a liberal and you only consume liberal media and all your friends are fucking liberals, and like, no wonder people fucking snap and want to cancel people. You know what I'm saying? They live in everybody lives in their own little fucking world. So when something doesn't match, you're like, holy shit, what did he say? And that is the other side of the sword when it comes to the internet, because the internet has made the world a much smaller place, right? A much smaller place. So that comes with its own consequences, and this is one of those consequences. These are the chickens coming home to roost. But it could lead to something far, far worse. Like, I know it's... See, how does a guy like Donald Trump rise to power? Do you think Donald Trump gives a fuck about any of the... Like, his quote unquote, like base, right? The poor fucking, you know, middle country, middle America. Do you think he gives a fuck about any of these dudes? No, he fucking doesn't. No, he fucking doesn't. This guy was a Democrat for most of his life. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that upsets me. Like, really irks me when people are like, oh, Donald Trump is racist. Really? Really, bro? This guy made millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Selling $25 million apartments. Who do you think is buying these? Do you think it's fucking little Ron in Jubadoo, Arkansas, coming down to New York City and treating himself to a penthouse in the Trump Tower? No. It's Prince Wahid Abdul Walid and his buddies coming in. Those are the guys that he likes. He don't give a fuck about what you look like, as long as that cash is green, baby. That's the beauty about capitalism. You can be a good capitalist and be racist. You're just costing yourself money. It makes no sense. It's bad business. But this dude saw a hole in the wall. He saw a hole in the wall. And it's the classic story of every fucking demagogue, right? That is somebody who rises to power just for the soul of having power. Right? He will say anything that you want to hear in order for you to put him in that position of power. So he saw that hole in the wall. Like, okay. Poor white people are mad. They're being called racists and homophobes and this and this. I'm just going to come in and just slide in and just say what's on their mind. And he's willing to eat the shit for it. See, that's the thing. Most people are not willing to eat the shit that it takes to be in a position of power. You know what I mean? Like, if you post something stupid on Facebook and your friends shit on you, you be in your bed for 2 days. Imagine now, 24/7. Just being hit and hitting back. Most of you people can handle it, but some people realize that they can and they fucking go for it. And I fucking love it. And that's what I love about him. It's just the ability to just turn the system on itself. Yeah. That's the beauty of it. And do I think he should have gotten impeached? No, and that's the beauty of the system, because it's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove. Yeah. Okay, so he was going around since September saying that the election was going to be stolen. And then when he lost, he said the election was stolen. And he actively worked his ass off to try to tie the numbers. And now he's got fucking getting sued for it in Georgia too. But he still fucking went for it. And that's what makes him a fucking gangster. And you still can't prove it, because he's being impeached for saying for the fact that he incited the insurrection. He said, okay, we're going to march to the fucking Capitol peacefully, and we're going to have our voice be heard. That's what he said. However you want to interpret that. But also, no Republican is going to fucking... Because in order to impeach a president of the United States, you need 2/3 of the Senate. They were never going to get his votes. Because most people in politics, that's all they can do. And they want to stay in fucking Washington. And you don't want to fucking alienate the Trump base. That is the entire party. It is the entire party. That is why he's going to... Mark my words. I've said it today. On the 18th of February 2021, Donald Trump will run again for president in 2024, and he will fucking win, and the world will burn. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so where were we? Man, the city of Toronto is to remain in lockdown until March 9th. The reopening was scheduled for, February 22nd. Motherfuckers are pissed off. That's crazy. But see, this has me asking, like, you know what? Is this still worth it to still live in the city? Because, see, to me, I was lucky because, you know, like, I moved out of the city. Like, see, I live in Oshawa now. So for those of you who may not be familiar with GTA geography, it's probably about 35 minutes outside the city. But I had to move because I needed more space, right? I had a baby, and we're living in a condo in the city, and it was just it just wasn't gonna work. Like those things are fuck. When T-Pain sang about a condo in Toronto, that shit is a bird cage. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just no. Unless you're willing to splurge $50 million on a fucking penthouse, these condos in Toronto don't do it, right? So we had a baby, and it was just we needed more space. So we're like, okay, what's the point of this? So now that was at the beginning of the pandemic. So we're like, you know what? Why the fuck are we still here? Because what is the point of living in the city, right? You want to do city shit, right? You want to be able to go to work, right? You want to be able to go to the club, go to nice restaurants, do city shit. That is why you pay an exorbitant amount of money in rent or your mortgage in order to be able to enjoy those those amenities, right? So once this shit keeps getting shut down, it makes no fucking sense. Like I have friends of mine in office real estate. So they rent office buildings, right? And my buddy was telling me that 82% of office buildings in a city are fucking vacant right now. That is nuts to me. Like, do you understand the implications behind this? These are billions of dollars. This is a whole entire, like, these are assets. This is your money that the bank has taken and invested with these, because when I talk about this shit, like people are like, oh, I don't want any skyscrapers. I don't know what the fuck. Why are you telling me this? How does that concern me? Well, guess what? These banks that underwrote those loans, they underwrote it with the money that you put in their coffers. So when they lose that money, you're fucked too, bro. That's the name of the game. That's crazy. Like how it is the cure being worse than the actual disease? I don't know. And then you look at all the unintended consequences of lockdowns. My God. The alcoholism rate has risen or whatever. Like shit, I ain't nobody to talk right now. I'm sipping and smoking right now as I'm talking to you, bro. So the suicide rate, people's businesses being fucking flipped. I got so upset the other day. I was watching this show on NBC. It's called Morning Joe, with this cunt of a man by the name of Joe Scarborough. Him and his wife. I'm not even going to go there because cancellation is imminent. They have this morning show, and this guy was trying to compare the looting of businesses over, when the Black Lives Matter protests were going on in the summer and people's businesses were being set ablaze and so on and so forth. And he's trying to compare it with the riots at the Capitol, right? So his argument is, because that is a huge argument in conservative circles, that hey, we're talking about Trump supporters rushing the Capitol and doing all these kinds of things, but how come you're not talking about the BLM protests and so on and so forth? And his argument was, oh, that is the capital of the United States of America. It cannot be compared to the burning of some taco stand. people who have worked and slaved and clawed for years to build those businesses. And you call it a fucking taco stand. And that's why Trump is going to win again. That is fucked up. But to that extent, it's like you think about like damage, like when people say things like, "Oh, when we get back to normal," there will never be a normal again. Like we've lost so much in this fucking crazy exercise that I think when people finally fucking get out of their caves, they're gonna be like, "Holy shit." Like, how many people can now no longer be able to make a living? Like, what is their normal going to be like? Okay, so let's say we don't have to wear masks anymore, right? Let's say you owned, like a small production business, right? You're not Hollywood big. But, it's you were just starting to kind of like really claw your way forward, right? You don't qualify for the big fucking payouts that the other big guys are getting. The fuck is that guy's new normal going to be like? I think the thing here in Canada, though, I think CERB tranquilized a lot of motherfuckers. CERB tranquilized a lot of you motherfuckers, man. Because Justin Trudeau is out here just, because in the States, like that shit is fucked up. Like I hear them like arguing about these bills, talking about like a one-time $600 payment. You're like, nigga, how y'all been living? That's crazy. That is nuts. But you'll agree with the Canadian government, man. Whatever you'll say is they look out for their people. Although also it's a hard compare because you're comparing a population of 300 million people to barely 10% of that. Canada's about 30 million. So it might be maybe a little bit easier to be able to maneuver around in terms of like spreading resources for people to keep surviving. But fuck, man, I don't know how to the listeners in the States, man. Fuck, I don't know how the fuck y'all doing it. A one-time payment of $600 and then good luck. We will see you later. God damn. Oh, my. I feel like there's going to be a culture shift in daily life after COVID, though. For sure. That's what I was telling my buddy who's in commercial real estate. I'm just like, dude, like, people have found Zoom now. There is no going back. There is a lot of motherfuckers that are like, what? You're telling me I don't gotta pay the rent? And these motherfuckers pay for their own internet? Shit. That's going to change a lot of things. There is a lot of corporations now, a lot of companies, because that's the thing to business, right? The same way that, the assembly line is changing, where now you don't need the same number of people that you needed in 1929 to put a car together that you do now, right? Now it takes 4 motherfuckers. Now maybe it takes 3 motherfuckers to put a Corolla together. You know what I'm saying? The rest is just done by them fucking robot arms, right? Now it's your turn, right? I bet you real estate motherfuckers always like, oh yeah, motherfuckers will always need someone to like work out of the rain. Now you look stupid. See, that's the thing, man. Like the market is always moving. The market is always moving, and you have to be able to adjust as the market moves, right? Like if you look at companies that were never able to adjust to the demands of the market, they'll always fail, right? Like Sony was the master of the Discman. Right, the Sony Discman was at some point the highest selling product, I think, in like the 80s and shit. Right? And I'm sure somebody came up to them and was like, hey, man, have you heard of MP3? They're like, MP3? Pfft, lame. That's not going to last. People like CDs. You know? And guess what? Apple came through and boom. Just ran the market right then and there. Right? You were unable to adjust. There was I forget the name of this guy. He was the CEO of IBM. I think his last name is something Watson. But this dude at some point made a statement saying that there were room for maybe 5 personal computers in the world. That's about it. About 5 personal computers. The fuck? Look at the world we live in now. So you have to be able to adjust to the demands of the market. And yeah, man, shit is going to change. People are going to start working from home. Cars going to start driving themselves. And if you cannot adapt, you're going to die, motherfucker. Man. Apparently, the Canadian federal government introduced a new gun control bill. I believe it was yesterday. And here's the interesting thing that I was thinking about earlier. I'm like, yo, did you notice how ever since COVID started, you don't hear about mass shootings anymore? Right? I was thinking about it. I was like, damn. Who knew incels were such germaphobes? You know? You don't hear about none of that shit no more. But see, do I think Canada has a gun violence problem? Yeah, little niggas are killing themselves in the street. They're killing each other and that is why, like, because the bill doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so the 45-page bill consists of 2 portions. Okay, so there is a ban on assault rifles, or assault style rifles. Actually, no, it's not a ban. It's a buyback, right? And the buyback is supposed to cost anywhere between $2 and $2.4 billion. So they're trying to buy back your assault rifles. Okay. That's one way to go about it. And then the second part of the bill, they're trying to leave it to the municipalities to deal with the handguns. Okay. So if you're trying to solve the gun violence problem, first of all, let's face it. Okay, so what is making you step up to the plate? Right? It's because people are killing each other with guns, right? Like we don't have a hunting issue where you're like, oh no, motherfuckers are killing too much fucking deer. You know, we have to take away the AR-15. No. So first of all, by you trying to do this buyback, that means you're going against legally owned guns, which is absolutely fucking stupid. Because the problem is not the legally owned guns. Okay? The guy who shot Pop Smoke did probably not do it with a gun that he bought at Walmart. So now at that point, now this is you're not addressing the problem at hand here. So you're gonna spend $4 billion of taxpayers' money to buy back legally owned guns. None of the crime is happening with legally owned guns. Nobody is walking into the fucking, Dick's Sporting Goods, buying himself a 9 and going into a drive-by. That's not how this is working, Justin. And then you leave the duty of policing handguns to the municipalities. What the fuck, Justin? First of all, okay, again, the majority of these firearm infractions are happening with handguns. Very few times is little Rel going to run off on the opposite gang with the M16. That's not what's happening here. They're using smuggled handguns. Now you leaving it to the municipality. So that means the city of Toronto might have different laws on guns than Mississauga might. How the fuck do you enforce that? Do you see what's happening here? Is motherfuckers trying to spend $4 billion to enrich themselves. There is a lick there. I can smell it. Stop. You're not solving the gun problem in the city at all. Stop lying to us. That ain't it. Cut it out. God damn. See, that shit pisses me off, man, when they try to pull the fucking wool over you, you know? Like you don't see what a flex is. Because you have to understand, like the way North American politics work, it's all based on money, right? Let's say, for example, you're trying to run for Congress, or you're trying to become an MP, or you're trying to become prime minister. It costs money, right? You need donors, right? When is the last time you donated to a political cause? You don't give a fuck. Good. But here is how the game works. Let's say you're running for Prime Minister of Canada. It's going to cost you at least $5 to $25 million. I'm assuming like here, it's not like in the States. If you're running for president of the United States, we're talking billions. You need $2 billion. You need $2 billion. Like Michael Bloomberg spent $500 million on Joe Biden's campaign. No, on his $500 million was on his campaign, and then he spent another $150 million on Joe Biden's campaign. So that those are just different fucking numbers. It's just extraterrestrial shit, right? But let's say within the Canadian fucking square of things here for a minute, right? So Justin needed at least $30 million to $40 million in order to run for prime minister, right? You got to buy ads. You got to buy, you know what I'm saying? You got to fucking travel. This motherfucker is traveling in a 737. You know what I'm saying? Like the kerosene on that ain't cheap. You know what I mean? Somebody has to cut that check. So the way it works is motherfuckers walk up to you. They're like, hey, listen, Justin, I can help you out with the dough. It's not a fucking problem. But 6 months from now, I'm going to need to holler at you real quick about this pipeline I want to run through goddamn Indian land. Nigga, listen, I need you to talk to me about that. I need you to look out for me. Is that cool? Is that cool? I'm thinking about calling it XL. You like that? XL. Yeah, XL pipeline. That's what I'm going to go with. You like that? Okay. All right. Here's your $50 million. But see, now, this motherfucker has to juggle his financial masters and the rest of us. Because we asking him questions like, yo, what the fuck, Justin? What the fuck? The Indians are saying they're dying because they're drinking fucked up shit in their water. You gonna what? No. Hey, no. Don't worry. The city will take care of handguns. Come on, man. Quit playing. Quit playing, Justin. That's $4 billion. But you do share the wealth. You do share the wealth. These motherfuckers ain't mad because you're still giving a little bit of that dollar back to the people, Justin. It's to giving a little bit of that dollar back to the people. Damn, they ain't too mad. They ain't too mad. But don't play too much though. Don't play too much. You know, man. I don't think, but see, like when it comes to this whole firearm thing, I don't think we're serious. Also, like I think it's something that is gonna slide by because we're not as serious about it as the Americans are. Like if this bill came out in the States, man, the Capitol will be under siege again. Real talk. But also it's because like when it comes to Americans, it's a different kind of ball game because they are like it is embedded within their constitution the right to bear arms. It's the American way. So that's a hard thing to fight. You can't fight. No, you can't fight that. You can't fight like that is in the bloodstream right there. You can't. That's a DNA switch. We don't have that kind of technology just yet. You know. I need a fucking smoke, man. This is nice. I like talking to you, world. I like talking to you. You know. But yeah, in Canada, it's like, yeah, you know, like it's just like who even really owns, like, I feel like I know some black people. I don't know nobody with a gun. Is that weird? Maybe I know some niggas that may have guns, but they don't even tell me about it. Like, does that say something about how they feel about me? I don't know. Those are the questions that I probably need answers to. You know? Man. Lot going on in the world, man. Lot going on in the world. Oh, man. To finish on a positive note, though, my man Dave Chappelle. The man got his name back. So, for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, I want you to take a second and go watch. Like Chappelle put out 2 videos on YouTube. In the first one, I'm forgetting the name of it, but if you look it up, you'll be able to find it. He talks about how Comedy Central made him sign one of those deals with the devil kind of deals where, like, you know, you find a kid. And I understand, you know, as an artist, man, that's what it is. That's what we live for, right? You know, he was 28 years old. His girl is expecting, right? And they come to him and they offer him a deal about Chappelle show, right? They offer him a deal for Chappelle show. And, of course, it was one of those fucking predatory contracts. You know, we are to use your name in perpetuity and whatever, you know, throughout the universe, we shall forever be the owners of the show and so on and so forth, right? I didn't even make a lot of money off that motherfucker either, he was saying, right? But then recently, Comedy Central, I guess, struck a deal with Netflix and HBO Max to stream the Chappelle show. And he was fucking pissed off about that because everybody was getting paid off his labor but him. And I could feel it, man, when he was talking about that shit, man. It touched my fucking soul. But he said it. He's like, you know what? And he tells this story about how, when he was a kid, like he went through a lot of episodes in his life where people were taking things from him, right? And at the end of that special, he sends a clear message to CBS, Viacom, who are the owners of Comedy Central. And the message is, hey, you will pay me or I will take it. And I'm not going to lie. At first, when I saw him saying that, I was like, this nigga is crazy. Nigga, you signed a contract. You ain't getting shit. You ain't getting shit, David. Cut it out. The white man has your handwriting on a piece of paper. You ain't gonna get a doggone thing. And lo and behold, to my surprise, I'm watching his latest special. Well, it's a clip that he put on YouTube where he announces that eventually CBS and Viacom. So what he did was like, you know what? He asked his fan base. He's like, you know what? If you love me, if I was ever anything to you, do not stream or watch the Chappelle show. And people fucking did. They stopped watching that show, and it created a ripple effect to the point where CBS and Viacom not only gave him back the rights to his name, but they cut him a check. Not a check, a check. A fat motherfucker. And I was like, damn, yo, that's crazy. Like, imagine being too big to cancel, bro. Too big to cancel. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? It's not just because he's Dave Chappelle and he's so talented. A lot of it also has to do with timing. I'll give you an example. I don't think that if Dave Chappelle was a white comic, a white actor, or a white singer who now all of a sudden went through a major war for their masters or their name or whatever it is, I don't think it would have worked out the same exact way. I think Viacom did the math and they were like, whoa, it's not just us keeping this guy into a vicious contract. Now we're being looked at as that, big white establishment taking away from the black man. And in this day and age, that's bad for business. That is bad for business. And that's why they decided to do it. That is why they decided to make sure that they paid this motherfucker, because they were like, oof. We don't want to be paying with that ism. And that is why it is a great time to be a black man in America. And on that note, I thank you, world. Thank you for checking in. I'm your boy, Mr. Roby Hollywood. And until next time, I said what I said.